first in high definition from the station on your side. This is WAVY News 10.
Good evening, I'm Tom Shad.
And I'm Nicole Livas. 21 burglaries in 6 days in Virginia Beach.
All of them happened between midnight and noon. There have been no reports of anyone hurt, but nearly $100,000 worth of property is now gone from a number of residents. Then on your side's Katie Collette's live in Virginia Beach. And Katie, they are happening in no particular one area, right?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. These burglaries are happening throughout the entire city of Virginia Beach, and the items targeted the most are electronics and jewelry. The Bellamy Woods neighborhood considered a good place for families by those who live there, a nice area to live. So when word spread of a burglary nearby, residents were surprised.
Middle America, nice suburban area throughout most of Virginia Beach, and you don't expect it to happen.
George Hodomarski's lived in Bellamy Woods for nearly 15 years.
I can recall 1 or 2 incidents in that whole time, so yes, when it's close to home, obviously it makes you think a bit and perhaps be a bit more careful about making sure your doors are locked, garage doors down, not leaving things out.
In Hodomarski's neighborhood, nearly $2,000 worth of computers, video games, and money were stolen from one home January 5th. The resident there tells 10 on your side she plans to use insurance money to install a home security system. Several miles away in the Lakes area of Virginia Beach, burglars stole more than $4,200 worth of a family's property, including electronics and a wedding ring. That's just 2 of 21 burglaries throughout the city in 6 days.
That number sounds pretty small, but in a nice suburban area like most of Virginia Beach, you really don't expect it.
Now police are busy searching for the thieves and the stolen precious property. Hodomarski thankful nothing worse happened.
Fortunately, it hasn't been the violent crimes, and that of course, property you can replace. When you have violent crimes, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, it certainly is. And of course, jewelry and electronics aren't the only items that were stolen over the last few days. Coming up new at 6, hear from one woman who tells us what the burglars stole from her neighbors is just a bit too personal. Tom?
Feel violated when someone breaks into a home or a car or whatnot. All right, thank you, Katie. In the same time frame last year, or this year rather, Norfolk also had 21 home burglaries. Chesapeake only had 1.
It's finally looking like winter in parts of Virginia. About 4 inches of snow fell in Floyd County, southwest of Roanoke. But as you can see, it wasn't too much trouble getting around because VDOT worked to stay ahead of the weather and cleared the roads there quickly. We're not expected to see snow here, but we could get some rain. On your side, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater has details. Don?
The rain is off to the west of our area, and it's generally falling apart right now. So I don't think rain is a real big threat for our forecast overnight, and snow is certainly not a threat for our forecast. You can see little, very light rain showers off to the west, so it's not likely to be anything major whatsoever. We are going to see the cloud cover for it, though. Here is a little bit different look at the rain. You'll note that the bulk of that rain is way on off into northern, into West Virginia, and that'll clip the northern portion of our area. We could see a little bit of rain over the northern neck and also Accomack County in the eastern shore. And we're talking rain because we're going to start to see that warmer air move in overnight. Now, over the weekend, obviously, very chilly. Little chilly today. 1 day warm up, though, coming up for Tuesday. We'll tell you all about that and much more in just a few minutes.
Spontaneous combustion, that's what's being blamed for starting a big fire in Chesapeake this morning around 7 a.m. Higgerson Buchanan, a recycling facility on Dominion Boulevard. Only Chopper 10 can give you this view as firefighters and company workers tried to control this. Bushes and trees that would have been used for mulch were on fire, and it's still burning tonight. Fire crews say the water was not doing the job, so now they're using a foam to put out the flames. And Hampton firefighters made quick work of this job at Mary Peak Elementary School. The flames damaged 2 administrative offices here. The school was closed today and no one was hurt.
In marketing, image is everything.
And one city councilman says a sulfur plant is not the image it once associated with Portsmouth, and he's ready to fight it.
10 on your side, Stephanie Harris is following developments for us. So, Stephanie, the city has no vote. How does the councilman plan to fight this?
Well, guys, it goes back to what you said just a moment ago, image. Now, we all assume that the Portsmouth Authority wants to look good, but by the looks of these signs popping up all over town, they aren't looking very good right now. These signs advertise a community discussion to be held tomorrow night. And based on what people say there, the council could react with a resolution. This rendering shows us for the first time what the proposed sulfur melting plant would look like on the Portsmouth Marine Terminal. It includes 2 silos 150 feet high with scrubbers the Potash Corporation claims would keep the air clean and odor-free. But to Councilman Bill Moody, the idea already stinks.
In a lot of respects, it reminded me of the New York trash proposal. They wanted to barge New York trash down here.
Moody contends Portsmouth is better than that. He fears a sulfur plant would lower property values around Port Norfolk and River Point.
If it lowers the property values, what have we gained? Probably have gained nothing. In fact, we would probably lose tax money.
I don't know if I go that far.
For Vice Mayor Charles Whitehurst, the jury is still out. He suggests the Port Authority pay for a group of citizens to go to Galveston, Texas, the site of another sulfur plant, to see for themselves.
They have to prove it to me and to the citizens that's the right thing to do.
But Moody's mind is already made up.
I don't need to wait on whether it's going to smell, not smell, whether the gas is going to be harmful or not harmful. I think it's a stigma associated with it.
He wants the Port Authority to find something else, perhaps cars or coffee, things he calls more compatible for the community. Moody is considering asking the council to pass a resolution asking the Port Authority to pass on the sulfur plant. A spokesman from the Port Authority declined my request for an interview today and said that he's not sure if there will be a representative at tomorrow night's meeting. Now, Potash Corporation is also deciding whether a representative will be there, but a spokesman told me that he thinks if people allow themselves to learn about the project, their fears will go away. Stephanie Harris, 10 on your side.
And you'll have a chance to weigh in on the proposed sulfur plant tomorrow. City Council is hosting a community meeting at 7 p.m. at I.C. Norcom High School off of London Boulevard. The power is back on in one Virginia Beach neighborhood this evening after a morning power outage. It happened in the Thalia area at around 8 a.m. Dominion Power officials say a squirrel caused the outage that left nearly 3,000 people in the dark. Power was restored at about 2 this afternoon.
He's called the mastermind of the USS Cole bombing. Tomorrow he'll appear for a motion hearing, the latest step before trial. Abdul Rahim al-Nashiri was arraigned in November. He's accused of orchestrating the attack that killed 17 Norfolk-based sailors back in 2000. He did not enter a plea. Tomorrow's hearing will include a proposed schedule for the trial, which could begin sometime at the end of this year.
The sailors on 2 local ships will say goodbye to their families this week. The USS Nicholas will deploy tomorrow. This is video of its homecoming back in June of 2010. The guided missile frigate will head out on a regularly scheduled deployment to South Africa. And on Wednesday, the USS Elrod will also head out to sea. Elrod, another guided missile frigate, will conduct an independent deployment to the Caribbean Sea in support of counter-illicit trafficking operations.
Police are investigating a discovery in the nation's capital.
I was in shock, so I had to grab somebody else to make sure that I wasn't seeing, something else.
What he found, a newborn baby frozen to death. Tonight at 5:30, what police are doing to find the mother.
Tense moments during this dramatic rescue. Still ahead, how this car ended up dangling from a freeway bridge with 2 little girls inside.
And more than a dozen people still missing in this cruise ship catastrophe. Tonight, why rescue crews are suspending the search.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Ribas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Rescue crews say the seas are just too rough. That's why they suspended operations on that capsized cruise ship off the coast of Italy. Meanwhile, more video emerged showing frightened passengers as they boarded rescue boats. Some of them panicked and jumped back into the cold, black water.
People were getting nervous. People were having chest pains. I was having chest pains. I was having anxiety because I don't know how to swim.
6 people were killed when that ship ran aground Friday. 16 are still missing, including 2 Americans from Minnesota. 4,200 people were on board the Costa Concordia. Today, the cruise ship company, which is owned by Carnival, released a statement. Quote, "It is human error here. The captain did not follow the authorized route that is used by Costa ships very frequently." The captain of the ship was arrested under suspicion of manslaughter and abandoning ship. Now, what should you do if disaster strikes on your vacation? how to protect yourself before you even leave home. That's in a few minutes tonight at 5:30.
The First Family lent a helping hand in a service project today to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
You know, there's nobody who can't serve, nobody who can't help somebody else.
President Obama and his family volunteered at this Washington, D.C. school today to help spruce up the library. And at the memorial honoring the slain civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton helped lay a wreath at the memorial. This is the first MLK holiday since that memorial opened in August. The 30-foot tall sculpture shows Dr. King emerging as a stone of hope from a mountain of despair. The design was inspired by a line in his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. And here in Norfolk, hundreds gathered to honor Dr. King with a parade. Tonight at 5:30, we'll take you to the local celebration of his life and legacy.
For nearly 8 decades, one company's been responsible for saving lives at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, but now the city's looking to change that. 10 on Your Side investigates what that means for the city and those who go in the water.
And while there's a debate over who will protect your children at the beach, accidents are down in backyard pools. We'll tell you what's being credited for the decline in drowning.
All these summer pictures. We've got no summer right now. It's obviously chilly, a little better than this weekend, but it's really going to warm up. Some of this air is going to be shifting northward. For tomorrow, we'll tell you all about that in just a couple of minutes.
It was founded back in 1932, and for decades, the Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service has protected swimmers at the oceanfront.
But now city officials are considering ending their relationship with the privately owned company.
The city's Department of Emergency Medical Services might be responsible for guarding the beaches along the oceanfront.
10 on Your Side's Art Kahn tells us city officials think it might save money. Art?
Well, Nicole, you know, that is, as they say, the million-dollar question, and the answer might be yes and no. Even a city councilman I spoke with today is not convinced that this would be a good move for Virginia Beach. And there are some issues that need to be examined closely before the city commits itself to providing its own lifeguards in the resort area.
Protecting swimmers at the oceanfront is not only a difficult job, it's a service that costs the city a lot of money. According to published reports, Virginia Beach paid more than $1 million last year alone. That was the final payment of a multi-year contract with the Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service.
We certainly believe that there's a lot more to it than just the money. We've been providing a service for 82 years now, and we want to continue providing that service.
But there are some city officials who believe the city could provide its own lifeguards at a substantial savings. Not everyone on council is sure about the plan, however.
I have two concerns. The first one is that when we're making the initial decision that we're actually comparing apples to apples.
Councilman John Earn says there are certain aspects of the contractor's expenses that are not being represented on the cost analysis conducted by the city.
For example, the city doesn't have to pay for insurance because it's covered under, we're self-insured, so I mean it would be covered under our normal risk management.
The deputy chief of the Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service says that doesn't necessarily represent savings for the city. He says the liability insurance his company buys also provides the city with some measure of protection.
When you run an operation where you're seeing 3 million people per summer, you're going to run into an issue where there's going to be legal ramifications and things are going to happen. And for right now, at the Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service, we handle every part of that.
Virginia Beach does handle the life-saving services at Sandbridge Beach, and so far that has worked well. The question is, will it work in the resort area?
Both Councilman Earn and Deputy Chief Tom Gill have some doubts about that. You see, there are a lot more swimmers in the water and people on the beach in the resort area. There's also a lot more beach to cover. Providing that kind of coverage could produce escalating costs for the city. In terms of both personnel and equipment, those escalating costs are another one of the main concerns Councilman Earn has in this. Art Kahn, 10 on Your Side.
City Council is expected to address this possible change at next week's scheduled meeting.
Anything but beach weather in much of the country. Snow blanketed the Pacific Northwest over the weekend, making for treacherous travel across the region near Portland. The roads are icy and very dangerous, as you can see from this car that hit a plow, and it stopped there to help another vehicle. But look at this. Kids were sled riding, having a good time. And farther north in Seattle, the higher elevations got enough snow for some winter fun. The weather is supposed to clear up later today.
Now, in high definition, your Super Dot for 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
actually got to see some snow over the weekend. I was in Ohio.
I was going to say, not here.
Well, you did see a little snow here too, but you had to be out late at night, and mainly into
got me, Don.
Yeah, mainly into North Carolina, and it was just a few flurries moving through, so it was nothing big whatsoever. But obviously, it was cold. It's still a little chilly right now, and as the sun is dropping below the horizon, it's still cold out there. And as far as rainfall, which could turn into snow, well, not really. We're not looking at anything big. The air over our part of the world is very, very dry right now. So this rainfall that's on off to the west, it's not really likely to really survive all that much. Farther to the north, I think it will. So we could see a little rain basically for the Middle Peninsula Northern Neck, but I think really the Northern Neck in Accomack County a little later on with some scattered rainfall. And it's going to be rain because temperatures aren't going to drop once we get beyond midnight. Now, obviously, it's too warm to snow right now, 45 degrees, and it's actually going to start to warm up a bit overnight. Here's where the warmth is coming from for tomorrow. Look at all this warmer air to the southwest. That'll lift northward for the day tomorrow, but it's going to be a one-day warm-up. That's it. Again, there's all that rain. The bulk of the rain, again, is off to the north, so I'm not real concerned about rainfall for us, other than the Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, and really the Northern Neck. Some points northward could get a little bit of rain for tonight, but there's where we're going to get the rain tomorrow night as this cold front pops on through. So that's why I'm talking about a one-day warm-up. We're going to see things warm up for tomorrow in a very big way. It'll be into the mid-60s and rather breezy, and then finally we'll cool right back down again on Wednesday. The cloud cover will continue to overspread the area overnight, and yes, there's the Northern Neck, Accomack County, little rain. There's the breeze for tomorrow. 10 to 20, 15 to 20, and by the end of the day, 15 to 25, but not much as far as rainfall. But the rain's on its way. Here comes the rain coming up tomorrow night at midnight, 15, 25-mile-an-hour winds. 4 o'clock in the morning, here comes the actual cold front, 10, 20-mile-an-hour winds. Good slug of rain. We could see around 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Wednesday morning, still some rain across eastern North Carolina, but that moves on off, except for a couple of stray showers. And temperature really, really drops on down all day during the day on Wednesday with that northerly wind. We finally start to clear off as well by the end of the day Wednesday. So again, very changeable. First of the changes moving in right now with some cloud cover, but we're also going to see things warm up actually overnight. It'll drop during the evening, then start to warm up overnight. Temperatures right now around 40, 45 degrees. Look at the low last night, very chilly, 25, high today 48 degrees. And again, that warmer air is poised to move on in. Here's where we are right now. And we'll continue to drop during the evening hours. We'll likely reach into the 30s by later this evening. But as the cloud cover starts moving in, we'll start to warm up overnight, just slightly, but then warm up a lot more for tomorrow, 65 degrees, and it'll be rather breezy. 51 degrees on Wednesday, but remember that cold front moving through? We'll see the rain overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday, then it gets cold again for Wednesday afternoon and Thursday.
Hanging on for dear life. See how rescue crews finally pulled a woman and her 2 daughters from their car as they dangled over a freeway bridge. Next.
Then shoe shoppers beware, your personal information may be at risk. Find out which popular retailer is sending a warning to 24 million customers.
Take a look at this. You're watching rescue crews in California pull a mother and her 2 young daughters from their car as it dangled over a freeway bridge. This accident happened Thursday when their car was rear-ended by a big rig. Look at that there. The woman and her daughters, ages 10 years old and 10 weeks old, were pulled from the wreck in about an hour. The truck driver was killed when his vehicle crashed into the creek below. And get this, the infant, she slept through the entire ordeal.
Oh my. Well, big recall for Mini Cooper vehicles. BMW is calling back about 90,000 Minis because of a potential fire hazard. There's a faulty circuit board and a water pump that can malfunction, overheat, and then cause a fire. This recall includes certain 2006 through 2011 models. BMW will let owners know which cars are affected, and dealers will replace the water pumps for free.
It seems more parents are getting the message about swimming safety because the number of drownings is down across the country. Fewer children are being hospitalized because of swimming accidents and near drownings. During the past 16 years, there was a drop of 50% in swimming-related hospitalizations. Researchers credit nationwide water safety campaigns for encouraging fences around pools, life jackets on boats, and more parental supervision.
Bad guys beware if you rip off someone's cell phone. They could be tracking you down right now. See how the crime-fighting technology works next.
Then pain at the pump is getting worse. Find out how bad it could get and why the price keeps going up. Hello, check.
Well, it's harder to find. Today's technology is helping fight crime. You can now use your mobile devices to track down your other stolen mobile devices. Let's get an example here. Someone stole Susan Rucker's iPhone, but she quickly figured out a way to find it.
I had my iPad because he did not take that, and there's an app on there that's Find Your iPhone.
Now check it out. She logged on and found her iPhone on the map and called police. An officer followed along as Rucker watched the movement here on the map. And when the suspect finally stopped, police moved in to make the arrest. Officers then returned Rucker's iPhone and her boss's, which was also stolen. And if you're interested in protecting your devices, there are apps for both iPhones and the Android phones. And there's a new way to track down your lost pet. For years, cat and dog owners relied on name tags, microchips. But that doesn't always mean your pet will be returned. Well, now a company called Tag, 2Gs, is using GPS to reunite pets and owners. The GPS chip attaches to a collar, so if your pet goes running off, you can track them down from your computer or smartphone. See? He likes that. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.